murderous military aggression, illegal occupation, destruction of homes, destruction of key infrastructure, crimes against humanity, war crimes. What country am I talking about? Palestine or Ukraine? Of course, the answer is both. Both. This government is more than willing to do something to condemn and to take actions to deal with illegal occupation, murderous, unjustified military violence, destruction of infrastructure, destruction of homes, killing of civilians when it comes to one of those places, but is willing to do absolutely nothing when it comes to them being done in another one of those places, namely Palestine. And I just find that, frankly, nauseating. And just the latest example of it is a letter from a constituent I got. I won't identify the person, but her son is born in Ireland, an Irish citizen, and but whose father is Palestinian. The child's father can't leave Palestine, so can't be with his mother and his son. The son has an Irish passport, born in Ireland, but also has Palestinian identity. So when he goes to Israel, they don't accept his Irish passport. That's apartheid. He's an Irish EU citizen. We don't care, says Israel. They hold him and his mother, because she's the mother of an Irish child with a Palestinian passport, for hours, subject him to humiliating interrogation and so on. When he's 16, when he reaches the age of 16, they don't recognise his Irish passport. And when he gets to the age of 16, he will never be allowed to Jerusalem, where his family are, won't be allowed to Ben Gurion Airport, won't be allowed anywhere out specified areas inside the West Bank. That child, whose cousin was recently picked up, who lives there, was picked up by the Israelis on Israeli Nationalist Flag Day on Jaffa Street in Jerusalem, where they were just gathering on the street with a dozen other children, doing nothing. He was arrested, taken to the police station where he was blindfolded and his hands and feet were bound tightly with metal cuffs. He was then brought to an area of the station with no cameras and beaten all over his body by 6 heavily armed soldiers. They beat him with their fists and M16 rifles on his hand, on his back area where there was no cameras, knowing that he could not defend himself. After that, he was put in a windowless cell for 6 days where he was not allowed to contact his parents or a lawyer. His mother had no idea where he was. When he was asked for a blanket, he was so cold he was denied it. Another child prisoner from Nablus lent him one to keep him warm. On the last day he was due to attend court, the television was turned on in his cell. On the television were videos and images of other Palestinian detainees screaming and being tortured. This was a deliberate psychological tactic to traumatise the young men. He was then taken to court. When he looked at his parents who were in the court, he was beaten again for doing that. I could go on, but I haven't got time. The father of the Irish-born EU citizen, who was also a Palestinian, when he was young, this is what happened to him when he was 16 years old. When he was interrogated and arrested by the police. The interrogation, one of the most difficult times in my life. The Israeli interrogators tortured me, and it affected my education because it affected my mind and my psychological state. It was a really bad time. I was tied to a small chair. I fainted. They put fingers on my neck as if to strangle me. I think they studied the art of how to hurt someone until they thought they were almost going to die. They hit me in my private area with their legs and battens. They did it slowly and then finished with a big kick. They put pencils between my fingers and squeezed them tight. They threatened to rape my mum and sister, and again I could go on. Okay, so father, his nephew, now an Irish-born, Palestinian-Irish, but Irish citizen, treated like that. And all those Israelis can come here without even a visa. But families, Palestinians, can't even meet their own family members, and this is what they have to put up with. And there are 1,200 children, I think, in Israeli prisons.
Thank you, Deputy.
And we do nothing.
Thank you, Deputy.
So how are we honestly expected to
an
believe that this
opportunity.
government or the European Union really care about,
Thanks,
you know, brutal aggression, unjustified aggression against innocent people when
Deputy,
they
you
allow
have
this
an
to happen?
opportunity. Deputy Neil.